Well, we might be about 80 minutes outside of midnight here in the city of brotherly love. It's once again time for a little bit of hockey here in Eastern Philadelphia. Hi, hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of Drexel University, the University of Drexel Dragons ACHA M1 Hockey, live here on the Delaware Hockey Network. And a pleasant good evening, a very late evening to everyone tuning in to the second half of tonight's doubleheader here on the Delaware Hockey Network, as we welcome you inside the Class of 1923 arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My name is Trey Wright as the Dragons enter game number 23 of the campaign, taking on the Lions of TCNJ. And after a 4-3 win for the Fightin' Blue Hens of the University of Delaware over the Syracuse Orange, we're here for the back nine of tonight's doubleheader, like we said. And for the Dragons coming into tonight with a record of 15-4-3, they're looking to keep things going as we got only one more home game, excluding tonight, for this Dragons program as they look to put the pedal to the metal for the rest of this season. And of course, on the other side of the ice, you've got the TCNJ Lions playing with a little bit of a short bench here, dealing with a couple of injuries, one of them to their captain of Logan May. He'll be out along with EJ Gley, with an upper body injury for both of them over the course of the last couple of games. And this is a really, really big game for the Dragons to try to get some much-needed 3 points in terms of trying to get ahead in the ahead of the Westchester Golden Rams in the ECHA standings, where the win here tonight would put them into first place in the standings. But taking a look at tonight's starting lineups, beginning with the Dragons, coached by Tyler Warshner. And no surprise to go with their top line of the captain of Matt Harris, with Evan Mudrick and Ryan Sambuco as the starting forwards, and rounding out the back six on the blue line, the 11 of Ben Burkon and the 27 of William Mikolas. And making a second start of the season, you've got the Aussie of Luca Bronze, #1 in net. Here tonight, and then on the other side of the ice, for the TCNJ Lions, coached by Andrew Duco and Paul Baccio, they're going to be going with their second line here tonight, with Colin Helkowski, Albert Scarmato, and the four of Kyle Gregory. Ryan Walter and Brian Gaboto will be on the blue line, and getting his fifth start of the season in net, Christian Esposito here for TCNJ. Got a color rush matchup here tonight. We'll get into the sweater colors in depth on the other side of the starting lineups in the national anthem, but it is indeed a color rush night, like we said. But it's going to be a fun one here this evening, and I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's coverage of Drexel Dragons hockey, as we'll send things downstairs to James Witherite for pregame ceremonies to get tonight's game underway between the Dragons and the Lions, live from Class of 1923 Arena here on the Delaware Hockey Network. While the weather outside might be a little bit frightful here in the city of brotherly love, some midnight hockey is sure to be delightful as it's go time between the Dragons and the Lions here on the Delaware Hockey Network. One final look at the starting lineups for both teams here tonight. For TCNJ, Gregory, Scarmato, Halkowski, with Walter and Gabota, and Esposito rounding out the starting six. And then for the Dragons, Harris, Mudrick, Mikolas, Sambuco, Burkon, and Bruns, the starting six for the Dragons. Drexel wearing their alternate gold-colored uniforms with blue pants and helmets, with gold socks and blue easily identifiable numbers on the back end trimmed in white. And the TCNJ Lions wearing their blue road uniforms with white and gold accents, blue all over with white numbers for TCNJ. Well, we appreciate everybody for toughing out the elements, and if you're cozied up at home, right by the fireside here in the late stages of January, grab a pot of coffee, put a pot of coffee on, grab a Red Bull, do whatever you need to do, as we're in for a slugfest here this evening between TCNJ and Drexel here at one of the most beautiful hockey arenas on the East Coast of the class of 1923 arena. Mudrick and Scarmato will meet at the face-off dot, and we are underway for tonight's nightcap. Starts with a face-off win for Drexel, taking it back the other way, the 19 of Ryan Walter. Walter from beneath his own goal line, trying to set the tone here early for TCNJ, trying to find Kyle Gregory in 4. And that's a little too far out for the former Robbinsville Redbird. Comes back over. Here's Evan Mudrick with it, looking to go backhander into the slot. Comes back over to Colin Halkowski, and the sophomore able to try to get it over to Albert Scarmato. And here's Gregory looking for a quick chance on Luca Bruns. That one just a little bit over. This goes into the far side corner. Scarmato fighting with it with a 27 of William Mikolas. Mikolas finishing his check on the other side into Scarmato, and is dumped in the other way by the captain of Matt Harris. Brian Gabota will track after this, wearing 5. Gabota looking for the stretch pass all the way down. Icing will be waved off onto deflection. And this will come back over to the 16 of Santino Tiberio, who typically wears 26. Gets it over to Anton Kazitsky. Coming back after an injury stint over the last couple of weeks there for Kazitsky. 18:45 to go in period number 1, and already one shot on net here for Drexel. Christian Esposito solving his first test of the young evening, is trying to get it out of there was Pietro Baccarin. This is Kazitsky with a quick shot, stick save made by Esposito. 2 shots, 2 saves, and wheeling it out the other direction, the 11 of Manny Amendola was trying to get it up to Matthew Korobko, no dice there. Back on the other way to Ryan Lippy, trying to play it up to Baccarin. It's intercepted by Stout. And Stout will play it up to Joey Greenspoon, the acting captain, with Logan May out of the lineup. Back on the other side is Adam Lazine. And Christian Esposito will wheel this the other way into the opposite corner. Looking for the empty net on the other side was Latham Hutchinson. And quickly making a heads-up save was Esposito. And we'll get another look at that here on the 412 Communications Instant Replay. These old boards here, a class of 23, a little bit funky, and nearly having a chance there was Hutchinson, but Esposito able to come across in time to make the quick stop. His third of the evening has been all Dragons so far in the opening couple of moments in this contest. A shot from Hayden Surratt, part of this new young guard of offensive forwards here for this Dragons program. Had a goal against TCNJ in the only meeting of the season so far between the two programs back on October 10th of the previous year. A 4-2 win for Drexel. They're looking to keep that momentum going as Surratt sending it back on the other side. Esposito with another save. And finally trying to wheel it out the other direction is Zach Duggan. And Duggan will play it all the way up as far as the near side corner, trying to set things up on the other way for the 18 of Alex Gibson. And my mistake, that's Zach Duggan, who's actually a former Robbinsville Raven. And Duggan had it, lost it. Getting it back the other way is Josh Kushner, who leads the Lions in penalty minutes. Gets it back over to Surratt. We'll play it back over to the 3 of Lippy. Looks like nobody wants the puck for the brief moment. It's gloved down the other way by a Lion. That was Helkowski. He'll turn it over to Lazine. Rather make that the 4 of Dimitro Mironets. Mironet's wearing 4 here instead of his normal 14 with these new alternate jerseys, and nearly off to the races on a partial breakaway was Helkowski. Helkowski launches the body of Adam Lazine into the corner, and it's up loose in front. Bruns is able to get a couple of chances. He's able to get a couple of good stops there for the Aussie. And TCNJ is not able to capitalize on both goaltenders, solving their first few tests of the young evening. 2 shots compared to the 5 that the Dragons have put on to Christian Esposito, but 2 crucial saves on a couple of grade A chances there from the Aussie of Luca Bruns. Bruns has only played 1 game this season. It was against these Lions back at the Cy Fieldhouse on October 10th. This is wheeled out the other way. Liam Yeoman, former member of the Rider Bronx of the ACHA Men's Division II, will rival the University of Delaware Blue Hens M2 program. Trying to play it back over to Ryan Walter, and Walter behind his own red line is able to put it on net. Bruns will make the stop, plays it back over to Sambuco. Walter has got it right in front of his own bench, and it's gloved down once again by Lazine. Pat Lazine's pass intercepted. Yeoman will send it back the other direction, and this will go out of play. 15:42 to go in the opening period. As we approach 11 o'clock local time, this game is more than likely going to go into the wee hours here of January 24th. The calm before the storm, both literally and figuratively here on the ice and literally outside with Snowzilla Jr., I should say, coming here. Amendola and Mudrick to take the draw, and it's won cleanly by Amendola, but taking a knife with it with a Dragon over on the other side. And Amendola back over to Korobko. It's pitched back in, and here's Harris coming down the near side with it. Harris waits for a trailer, gets it back over to the 24 of Doyle. Doyle fighting for it with Greenspoon at the near side, pops back over. Korobko has got it, nearly lost it to Doyle once again, and a bouncer comes back into the possession of Evan Mudrick. Mudrick with speed, trying to knife around everybody, sets up Doyle, and a shot partially blocked, went a little bit wide of the cage. Mudrick in the high slot, takes it himself, blocked by Greenspoon, and the Lions trying to dig it out, and it comes back over to Amendola wearing 11. Amendola has it taken away by Harris, trying to put it in the low slot. Somebody in gold trying to take it away, and it's into the glove of Christian Esposito for the pause. And something that the Dragons have been able to capitalize a lot on this season is those second and third chances. As the faceoff will come to the left-hand side of Christian Esposito. We'll take a look at tonight's goaltending matchups here. Beginning with Christian Esposito, the Manalapan, New Jersey freshman, 1-2-1 on the season with a GAA of 4.49 and an 89.2 save percentage for the former goaltender for the Mercer Chiefs 18U AAA program, as well as Manalapan High School alumni. This is gloved down by Luca Bruns on the other side. No time like the present to go over his stats on the season for the Sydney, Australia junior. Played for the Bridgewater Junior Bandits of the USPHL Premier. Is 1-0 on the season with that 4-2 win against the TCNJ Lions back on the 10th of October. A GAA of 2 evenly and a save percentage of .900. This comes back down the other direction and will be iced by the Dragons. And it will be coming back right where we started from, over in the Drexel end. There was a quick moving first 5 minutes of this period, but now a little bit of stop and go holding patterns. And Luca Bruns on this season. You see his stats for the Dragons tertiary goaltender, of course, Ryan Nocerino and Tyler Richmond taking the brunt of the work here so far this season. Of course, Nocerino, his story is well known. Came in as the freshman goaltender in the ESCHL championship back in 2024. A championship banner hangs proudly here at the class of 1923 arena, and the Dragons trying to repeat that magic here in their first season in the ECHA, excuse me. Have to see what they'll be able to do in the playoffs here over the next couple of weeks over at the Steel Ice Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, just about an hour and a half drive up the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Get off at Allentown, you go eastbound, heading towards Bethlehem. This is Surratt who will take it back in his own end and will reset for Drexel. Surratt banks it back over to the 2 of Hutchinson. This goes up into the air, and Hutchinson's got it on the tape, and he might have numbers the other way, trying to get it back on the other way to Mironets. Dangerous play in front, brought down to one knee was Nathan Steele. Trying to steal that puck away once again as Steele kicks it back out to the point for Hutchinson. Hutchinson with a drive from the point, and it's gloved down by Esposito once again. 7th shot on net for Drexel. 7th save for Christian Esposito, still awaiting the game's opening goal. As tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by the law office of Heather A. Long here on the Delaware Hockey Network. Lazine up to Steele, and he'll get it over to the 2 of Hutchinson. Hutchinson dumps it in off the stick of Nick Stout, and Stout trying to spring Helkowski over on the left wing. Helkowski dropping it back for Gregory. Gregory look at drive, trying to get over to Scarmato. They score! So it looked to be like a nothing burger dump in play. Results in a TCNJ goal, and it's Albert Scarmato breaking the ice here with 12:35 to go in the first. We'll get another look at it here on the Delaware Hockey Network replay. And Helkowski over on the far side knifes it over in right place, right time for Albert Scarmato, and he's going to get his 5th goal of the season for the former New Jersey 87. And the Monroe, New Jersey freshman will put TCNJ on the board, and looking to counterattack quickly here are the Dragons, and they do! No, they don't. I thought it was in. I could have swore it was in the net, but it just somehow stayed out, and getting robbed there was Mikolas. And now potential numbers the other way, and Mikolas wants another crack at Esposito. Goes over to the far side. They're trying to drive around the net. It's underneath Esposito, and he'll have for the pause. And that was dangerously close. I could have swore I saw rubber over the goal line, but alas, we did not, and it still remains. A 1-0 lead here for TCNJ. Still awaiting the particulars from James Witherite, our PA announcer, doing double duty here tonight as he called a fantastic game. With the between the Delaware Blue Hens and the Syracuse Orange. So Helkowski and Stout will get the helpers. At 7:25 in period number 1. Mikolas looking for the equalizer underneath the goal net. He'll find Harris in 6. Harris waiting for a lane, kicks it out to Ben Burkon at the point. That's redirected into the corner by Harris, comes back over to Kushner. Kushner not trying to knife it out, comes over to Burkon who will glove it down. And now a one-on-one the other way. Here's Duggan over on the left wing, looking to double it, I should say. Duggan puts a shot on, easily sticked aside by Bruns. And trying to get it back on the other way is Sambuco. Sambuco to Burkon, back over to the 6 of Harris. Back to Burkon looking for the backhander, and that's partially off. Looking for the wraparound chance on the other side was Harris, and not able to pull the trigger. Now Drexel beginning to buzz. Here's a short side chance on the other side from Doyle, and way out of his net came Esposito to make the pause. Well, Christian Esposito has been one of the more solid goaltenders all season long here for this TCNJ program. Only 1 win on the season and 4 games played, and that one came on the road against the William Patterson Pioneers at the Ice Vault up in Wayne, New Jersey. Kazitsky and Scarmato off the draw to the right-hand side of Esposito, and it's won here by Kazitsky looking to go on the good backhander there. And here's Helkowski trying to get off to the races. It's right underneath of it. He gets hauled down by Doyle. And we'll see if it's just going to be a hold, and it will be. And that's a penalty you kind of had to take if you're Brady Doyle. And the Westchester, Pennsylvanian will get some ink on the score sheet for the first time on the penalty sheet, I should say. The turkeys on the table for the TCNJ Lions here on that hold. Now, we mentioned it briefly right at the top of the show before puck drop. This was going to be a big game for Drexel, but it could also be a big trap game for them. You look at TCNJ, they're 3-17-3 on the season, 5th in the NECHL. It should be a gimme game if you're the Dragons, but the scrappy TCNJ team that's dealing with a lot of injuries. As Duggan over at the left wing trying to play it back up to Scarmato. He'll play it back over to Duggan. Duggan looking for the centering feed taken there by Surrett with Helkowski right at 7 o'clock. Helkowski will pin him into the boards. Kushner trying to get it back out to the point, and it's cleared by Nathan Steele as far as the red line. Duggan all over the ice here. Quarter of the way through against the holding minor, against Doyle, and Duggan will reset from his own goal line. Plays it over to Josh Kushner, the sophomore. Plays up to Helkowski, bouncing puck over the stick of Surrett, and those two chasing after it over in the near side, right-hand corner. Surrett pinned to the boards by Helkowski. Kushner making it a third man in. Joining the fray once again, Andrew Body here for his second shift of the evening, and finally pops loose with Helkowski. Now the Lions trying to get reset. It's loose in the slot for Scarmato for a brief moment, and now it's wheeled out of here by the Dragons. Cleared down. Esposito will play it out of his own net as Surrett was trying to put one on target. That's steered back into the opposite corner, and Stout will reset. Short bench here for TCNJ this evening, only playing with 15 skaters, 9 forwards, and 5 defensemen. And it's a wholesale change here, rather just a wholesale full bench, I should say, for this Drexel program. Stout, clap bomb over across, it's on the goal line, they score! Josh Kushner with the initial shot, it dribbled right on the goal line like a basketball. And the question is, who stuck it home? That may have been an own goal, or was it Zach Duggan? Or make that Kyle Gregory. We'll get another look at it here on the 4-1-2 instant replay. But a power play goal for TCNJ. And that was just an absolute howitzer from Kushner. Brun's got about maybe 85% of that. I believe that is going to be Gregory, who was able to tap it home. And now down by 2 is Drexel right now. And a very, very flat start in the back end of this first period for the Dragons as they give up a power play goal. If it indeed goes to Gregory, that would be his 7th of... Mudrick across the center ice logo. Across the Penn logo it went, where the Quakers fell in overtime. It's loose in the low slot. Esposito somehow got there in time. Wow! Well, he's got a flair for the dramatic for the freshman goaltender, and he makes just another beautiful, spectacular save for his second grade A save on the evening. And it looked like it was going to be a surefire gimme goal from Mudrick, who was just poking himself in the low slot. But Esposito has been on fire. And now Brun's trying to look for a little bit more of that momentum, but Korobko will send it into the corner. 7:50 to go in the first period, and up by 2 is TCNJ. So Gregory will indeed get the goal. Kushner and Stout will get the helpers to that Stout's second point of the evening. And the Dragons still just trying to find their footing after being delivered a 1-2 uppercut. Baccarin not able to get that. Loose change on the low slot on the other side. That was a chance for Sambuco. Rather, that was Kaczynski with a drive in the low slot, and that was partially blocked. Greenspoon comes out with it, trying to get it around Jimmy Jacobs. We haven't seen a whole lot of tonight here for the alternate captain, and Jacobs will now go westbound and down with the vulcanized rubber. Jacobs looking for the backhander on the side of the net, and the net will come off as Esposito will bump it just a brief moment. So these pesky nets here at the class of 1923 arena. at the storied facility. As we always say here on the Delaware Hockey Network, if you put Maple Leaf Gardens and the Hartford Civic Center into a blender and you render it miniature, that's what you get here for the class of 1923 arena. By far the best place to call college hockey here on the East Coast. Beautiful facility shared between the Penn Quakers and the Drexel Dragons. It's being owned by the Penn Quakers, who fell 5-4 in overtime against the Millersville Martyrs the game previous to this. Looking for a similar comeback right now after the Quakers sent that game in overtime after trailing 4-2 in the third period. Looking for a similar comeback to get back in the dance is Drexel, who currently trails 2-0. 6:35 to go in the first period, and looking for a little bit more was Duggan, not able to get quite the handle on it. Sending it in was Ryan Walter. Tagging up was Kushner and company. Kushner trying to play it back over on the other side. Not able to get anything there was Gibson, and comes back over in possession of the Dragons. 6:15 to go now in period number 1. And looking to set the tone here. Here's Kubota, rather that's Duggan who's looking for a quick chance on the loose change. Gibson with a drive, waffle boarded high into the air, comes back over. Trying to drive it out was Hutchinson, comes over to Gibson. Burkon will just play it right at his own side. Will lift it all the way out in the neutral zone. Bouncing puck will find Walter. Walter with Hutchinson right at his 6 o'clock, dogging him like the Red Baron behind Snoopy. This is lifted out. Foot race on the other side. Surrett a little bit too quick for Halkowski off of the gun. And this will come back out into the TCNJ end. Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Sid's Barbecue and Jerky, located in Claremont, Delaware. Proud partner of the Delaware Hockey Network here this evening. I'd like to thank all of our partners for making the Delaware Hockey Network and broadcasts like tonight possible here. Like we said, just a beautiful, beautiful arena. Great place to call some hockey on a late night in late January. Here on the Delaware Hockey Network, my name is Trey Wright, with James Witherite, our technical director, and our PA announcer, wearing all the hats here. Getting a little bit of a vocal rest in terms of play-by-play after calling that fantastic game between Delaware and Syracuse. Here's Eisler trying to drive it on the other way, trying to play it back over to Sadaru Edo. And it's loose in the low slot, and now we'll get a little bit of a group project. The lines people will separate everybody. You look at the Dragons' last couple of games here on this season, they only gained 1 point out of a possible 6 with the Hawks of IUP. On a doubleheader last Saturday and Friday, a 5-1 loss to IUP and a 3-2 overtime loss against IUP. But before that, they were coming off of 3 straight wins against William Patterson and the Violets of the New York University. So the Dragons, who right now sit in second in the ECHA, trying to get back in this contest. 4:40 to go in period number 1. This skips under the glove of Brady Doyle, and he'll track back forward on the other way. Santino Tiberio wearing 16 on the alternate jersey instead of his traditional 26, not able to clear this out. Sent back in by Daniel Jakob. And Sambuca will play it back for Harris. Make that Tiberio, excuse me. I saw the 6, didn't quite see the 1. Doyle down to the left lane. Bouncing puck back over. That's a little register as a save for Esposito. Harris lost it in his skates. And a 2-on-3 for the Lions, and Kushner darting down the left wing once with it. Tiberio trying to stake him off, and he might go to the box here. I believe this might be a penalty against Santino Tiberio for a high stick, and it looks like it is. And we mentioned how that original penalty taken by Brady Doyle was kind of a penalty you needed to take. And actually looks like we're going to get coincidentals here. So it'll be a high stick going against Tiberio and a hold going against Kushner, I believe. So 2 different corresponding penalties. That won't be coincidental, so we'll play 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes with 3:56 to go in period number 1. I believe that's going to be Kushner for a hold. Well, I believe it might be Kushner for the high stick, I would say. I would probably go Kushner with the high stick and Tiberio with the hold. But now plenty of open ice for both teams to operate, and 4-on-4 has been the bread and butter of the Dragons so far in 2025-26. Lazine will drop down, plays it back over to the 6 of Harris. Here's Matty Harris there, the captain. Holds up right at the left circle, and he just lost it for a brief moment in time trying to play it back over to Sambuco, but it's intercepted on the other way. Gambota will bank it on the other way to Ryan Walter in 19. Those two the starting defensive pair, and here comes Duggan once again, this time on the near side. Duggan holding off, plays it back over to Gregory. Gregory, 1 goal already tonight, trying to play it back over to Duggan, who's been held off the score sheet so far and the only 2 goals of the contest. This comes back over to Sambuco. Sambuco trying to get around Gambota, and he will. Here's Sambuco in on net, he scores! A nifty little dipsy-doodle backhander from Ryan Sambuco, and the Dragons are right back in it. And what a play there from Sambuco. We'll get another look at it. Like we said, it's been the bread and butter. This open ice 4-on-4. Sambuco able to drive around Gambota and puts it right between the 5-hole of Christian Esposito and Drexel. Within 1, they're right back in the dance here. Not quite a clean slate, but the Dragons at least on the scoreboard. We'll await the particulars in a moment, but we do know that Ryan Sambuco is going to break that tie with Matt Harris for the most goals and points on the season. For Sambuco is 19th on the year and 41st point for one of 5 grad students on this Drexel program. And the Dragons right back in this one. So now 2:19 to go in period number 1. We'll see if Drexel is able to find the equalizer to give them all the momentum going into this middle frame. Surrett has got it on the tape. The Chicago native trying to play it up to Kazitsky over in the far corner. Kazitsky has got it. Trying to hold up and wait for Jimmy Jacobs. It'll play it back over to Jacobs in 18. Jacobs surveying. Will play it back over to Lippy. Lippy with a drive, and that's partially blocked by the 18 of Gibson. The other 18 of Jacobs will find this over on the far side corner. 1:50 to go in period number 1. Kushner not able to break that out. Surrett has got it. Looking for the one time on the other side was Mironets, but he was a little bit tied up. Now the Lions trying to break out with under 100 to go. This is Halkowski in a one-on-one with Surrett, was trying to look for the centering feed over to Gibson. And back on the other way with it once again comes Kazitsky. Drops it back to Jacobs. Jacobs trying to get it back over to Kazitsky, but it's partially blocked by Walter. Kept back in by Doyle. Will play it back up to Jacobs. Jacobs looking for a centering feed. No dice there, and now the Lions might have numbers if they hurry. They'll stick with the 2-on-2. Duggan dropping it back to Kushner. Kushner shot blocked by the knee of Tiberio. Tiberio's got it. He gives it away. Now Halkowski surveying once again with 1 minute remaining in period number 1. It's been a good one so far on this nightcap in the city of brotherly love. Halkowski trying to get it out. Nearly taken out was Hutchinson, and now Hutchinson is on it. Offside, weighed off, as Hutchinson was able to remain onside, and he nearly had it once again. Hutchinson with it. Sends it back out to the point. It looked like it may have been a little bit offside, but will remain on. Bouncing puck comes back over and quickly cleared out by Esposito. He nearly sent it into the crowd of fans. 25 to go in period number 1. Gibson from his own goal line. Sending it all the way up, trying to beat the icing is Gregory, but he's not going to beat Tiberio, who had him by a step and a half. And a late face-off in the offensive zone for Drexel, and they'll get their top guys out. No surprise to see that top line out here. Harris, Sambuco, and Mudrick out there for this top line. Sambuco trying to win the draw against Scarmato, finds Burkon. 10 seconds to go in the period. Harris fumbled it over in the near side corner. It's loose, the net is off, and finally able to get a touch of it was TC&J with 4 to go. And we'll get another look at it. And Drexel wasn't able to hold on to possession of it during that continuation period as the net came off. We'll watch it once again. Yeah, just a little too far out from Mudrick. He would have had a clean chip shot in the low slot. Final seconds will tick off in period number 1, and that will do it for the opening 20 minutes. So TC&J got on the board early with a pair of goals for the Dragons. Thanks to Ryan Sambuco's 19th of the season. Bring it back. We'll be back in just a couple of moments after intermission number 1.
Whether you're a competitive athlete or a weekend warrior, a sports medicine physician is an important player on your health team. With over 10 years of treating high school, collegiate, professional, and everyday athletes, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine is the specialist you need to achieve personal bests and lead a healthier lifestyle. With clinics in Wilmington and Townsend, Delaware Sports Medicine is here for every athlete in your family. Visit desportsmed.com today to learn more.
Broadcast to social, print to digital, coast to coast, remote or on-site. 412 Communications has the solution to bridge your team with your audience. Want to know more? Visit 412communications.com today. Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. The expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
20 down, 40 to go as we welcome you back inside the class of 1923 Arena here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on tonight's broadcast of Drexel Dragons hockey here on the Delaware Hockey Network. Trey Wright on the call, and it's 2-1 TCNJ. After two quick goals from the TCNJ Lions, it was Albert Scarmato that got things kicked off midway through the first period. Immediately after that was Kyle Gregory getting his 7th goal of the season, but then after that it was Ryan Sambuco making it a 2-1 game, putting Drexel right back in the fray as we're underway for period number 2. Shot 6-9 in favor of the Dragons. 10-12, excuse me. We're looking at the replay there for a brief moment. We'll get the accurate shots here in just a moment, but I'd like to once again welcome everybody back inside the glass here. As Ryan Sambuco looking for his 2nd goal of the game. It's tied up in the slot, somehow able to get there was Esposito and not able to get anything on the other way. Esposito once again comes up big. Ryan Sambuco thought he had him, and Esposito being Houdini, wow. And we got to see that once again. It all started with Sambuco trying to set things up for Harris in the low slot with a backhander. Way out was Esposito, and right there a blast from Sambuco in the mid slot. Not able to get the equalizer. And 2 shots on just a couple more grade A chances. That one high flyer over the crossbar comes back over to Baccarin, who's held in by Scarmato, one of the 3 goal scorers tonight. This is Gregory, who tries to backhand it out to no avail, and will finally come back over to Jakob. Make that Halkowski, who will get it over to Scarmato. Scarmato trying to take some more time off of the clock, but he'll turn it over to Tiberio, who gets leveled into the half wall by Colin Halkowski, and now the Dragons have numbers the other way. Jacobs looking for the tap, and it's loose in the goal line. They score! Jacobs was crashing in, and he didn't even need to tap it home. It was Baccarin who was there for the easiest goal you'll ever get, and we're tied at 2. So 2 goals in succession from TCNJ, and now 2 goals in succession for Drexel as we get another look at it. Sent in, danced on the goal line once again. And Pietro Baccarin, in his 2nd season with Drexel, will get his 8th goal on the year. And it's a brand new hockey game as we approach midnight in Philadelphia. So 2s across the scoreboard. With an offensive zone draw for TCNJ, we'll gain the particulars in a moment. Kushner wins the draw, sends it back to Jakob, who will send it to the opposite side. And as we begin to reach midnight here on the East Coast, the Cinderella story for TCNJ might be approaching midnight, and Drexel just trying to get back in the driver's seat here. Going down too early. Here's a chance in front. Just goes off of the pads of Esposito. That was Hutchinson who had played it off of a weird bounce on the board. Another chance kicked in by Esposito, or rather Hutchinson. Esposito coming up big once again. Kept in on the other side. Surrett with a drive. And now Kushner is going to get into it on the other way with Hutchinson, and a crowd will draw. So Baccarin from Anton Kazitsky, so able to get on the score sheet here is Anton Kazitsky. Like we said, he's had an injury-riddled graduate season, but he's able to get that primary assist, the only assist on the equalizer, and it's a clean slate. We're tied at 2, and now TCNJ looking to bring it back up, but it comes back over to the Dragons. Marinets, as Kushner spills over right of the blue line, was looking for a call, will not get it. Hutchinson whiffs on that inlet pass. Trying to get it there was Marinets. Comes back over to Greenspoon, but Steele has got it. Will send it on the other way to Edo. Back over to Ryan Lippy. This is chipped past the red line. Bouncing puck goes right into the gear of Esposito. And rather than try and play it, he'll hold on for the pause. 2:50 gone in the middle period. We're deadlocked at 2. In case you're just joining us, thank you so much for tuning into tonight's broadcast here of Drexel Hockey, live on the Delaware Hockey Network, the second game of a doubleheader here on DHN. Kept in by Lazine at the point. Now Drexel will gain some offensive zone time with a little bit of a pass, a little too hot there for Eisler. Comes over, nearly kept in by Lippy. Greenspoon trying to keep it away from a couple of gold and blue jerseys. This goes wide of Esposito's cage. Bumped into the corner was a Dragon over at the half wall. Clap bomb from Burkon. Glove down and stick down once again by Esposito. Make that 20 saves for Christian Esposito on 22 shots faced. But it's been all Dragons for the latter half of all the game that's been played so far in this contest. Surveying was Mudrick, and a quick save by Esposito. And Scarmato getting it with Matty Harris, who touched the goaltender. Don't want to do that. Sambuco was the one who sent that home. Was trying to send that home, I should say. It was there on the opposite Ovechkin office. Gabota trying to stick that one. Comes over to Bruns. He'll play it up for Mudrick. Mudrick to Matt Harris, who's been kept off of the score sheet so far tonight. Pulls up. Plays it back to Lazine. Over to Burkon, who was looking for the redirect over from Harris, and it comes back over to Stout. Stout to Helkowski. Back over to Lazine, who will send one through traffic. It'll come back over to Stout. It'll play it to Helkowski. Helkowski now surveying, trying to get it up to Gregory, and now potential 2-on-1 for TCNJ. A little too far over the stick of Scarmato. Looking for his second of the night. Gregory on the one-timer, fans on it. Not able to get any sort of power or connection. And now the Dragons will respond on their other side. Mudrick sends that one wide of the net front, comes back over to Helkowski, and he's in a one-on-one with Burkon. Making a one-on-two as Sambuca will come back the other way. Helkowski gets launched in, looking for it is Kushner. He gets the rebound and he scores. So Josh Kushner, who was about maybe 2 centimeters away from making it 2-0, brings the lead right back to the Lions. It's 3-2. And it's just those sneaky good chances that have been squeaking past Luca Bruns. Helkowski got laid into the boards by Burkon, and that allowed for a lot of open space for Josh Kushner to put home an initial chance. Rebound came straight back to him, and the sophomore will give the lead right back to TCNJ. Looking forward again where the Lions, this time it was Duggan who was a little bit out of position. Kushner on it once again. He wants a second, but he's not able to pull the trigger. So playing from behind once again are the Dragons, and blowing a tire was a Drexel skater. That was Baccarin, the lone goal scorer, and it comes back over to TCNJ. Kushner with a rip chance, gloved in and out, and Bruns will have it covered. And now we're going to get another group project over in the far corner. So Helkowski with that forechecking effort will get that secondary assist with Duggan on the primary. Greenspoon off of the draw, loses it to the 24 of Doyle. Steele has now got it going down the left wing. He'll dump it in. Pressing on will be the Dragons in their gold alternate jerseys. TCNJ wearing blue. It's a color rush game here on a late night in late January. It's gotten a little bit colder here in the class of 1923 arena. Steele with it, was trying to feed it back over to Hutchinson, who was tied up in the low slot. Gregory will lift this all the way out to the neutral zone, intended for the captain of Greenspoon, the acting captain, I should say. Helkowski with a drive. That's a pad save right back over to Bruns. Bruns has got to be careful. He's given up a lot of rebounds in this game, and TCNJ's been able to capitalize on 2 of them so far. Gregory does a great job of keeping it in the zone, as Dimitra Murnetz wasn't able to poke it back out to the neutral zone. Kept back in. Gregory's drive. Rebound comes straight back over, and Bruns was able to partially get the stop on. Rebound comes over to Gregory. He's not able to pull the trigger, and here come the Dragons on the other way. On their counterattack comes Steele. Playing it back over. Mironet's looking for it, and he's not able to get it. Mironetz will collect his own rebound with Walter right to his 7 o'clock. Plays it back to the top of the point for Tiberio. Tiberio with a drive, redirected by Steele. It goes into the corner away from the net. Big crunching hit as Korobko collided with Ryan Lippy, and now Hutchinson is going to get a penalty. To the bench goes Esposito, and a shower of hurt right now is Matthew Korobko, and he's down. Brian Gabota livid right now with Latham Hutchinson, and now we're going to take a pause here as Matthew Korobko in a world of hurt. 13:04 to go in the second period. We'll be back.
There's nothing all-American quite like a good old-fashioned barbecue. Sid's Barbecue and Jerky brings the most tender and flavorful pulled pork, brisket, and barbecue chicken to the tri-state area, and is sure to turn your next gathering into a truly all-American event. Visit Sid's on Ridge Road in Claymont, Delaware, or place your next catering order at sidsbbqandjerky.com.
Broadcast to social, print to digital, coast to coast, remote or on site. 412 Communications has the solution to bridge your team with your audience. Want to know more? Visit 412communications.com today.
And we're back at the class of 1923 Ice Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A dangerous play in the far right corner where Matthew Korobko was hit into the corner by Latham Hutchinson. We'll take a look at the replay on what happened. It was off of that redirect. Korobko was coming over, and he just got laid out. And it was able to get back on here. Yeah, and that's not a good look for Ryan Lippy. In fact, it was Hutchinson on the initial hit, and then Lippy sent him hard into the boards. And it will be a board. We'll see if it'll be a 2 or a 5. And it is going to be a 5-minute major. We'll see it'll be a 5 in a game, however. But right now, Latham Hutchinson's number's on the board, but it should be Ryan Lippy who should be getting the 5. And that is... It's good to see Matthew Korobko was able to skate back over with a little bit of help from Rob Garmice, but the extra deep-fried turkey is going to be on the table here for TCNJ, and they've got a 5-minute major to play with, already up by a goal. And that is the last thing you wanted if you're Drexel, and of course now our thoughts are with Matthew Korobko as he goes back to the locker room for repairs. 13:04 to go in period number 2. TCNJ leads by 1, and can they get it back up to a multi-goal lead will be the million-dollar question. They win the initial draw. Gabota plays it back to Stout. Back over to Kushner. Kushner's drive partially blocked by Body, and it comes back over to the neutral zone where Stout has got it. Kushner, who's got the go-ahead goal right now, sent it in, and it's sent down the length of the ice. TCNJ's power play, 1 for 1 so far this evening. They came into tonight with a power play record of 18.5%. Drexel's penalty kill, 0 for 1 so far tonight. And they've got a PK of 68.5, good enough for 8th in the ECHA. So TCNJ will reset from their own side. Duggan will come across. Kushner will remain on here for PP1. He'll dance around Tiberio. He's got a wide open net. Was looking to go backdoor to Duggan, who was a little too far out in front. 3:50 to go in the power play. And it was Hutchinson that was given that penalty. So Stout will play it back over to Kushner. And Kushner will take it across the Penn Quakers logo, trying to play it back over to Greenspoon. Here's Body over on the right wing. Left wing, excuse me, plays it over to Steele. Steele looking for a shorthanded equalizer, will instead opt to play it back out to the neutral zone. Will play it to Lazine. Sent the length of the ice by Surratt. This bounces off the board. Here's Body, who's just overskated the puck. Body might have been off to the races with a little bit of a quick chance there. Excuse me, that was Eric Eisler. Body is wearing 21, my apologies. Shot from the point, they score! What a dart from Brian Gabota, and he'll double the lead for the Lions once again. Wow! Doesn't get any prettier than that, as Gabota was lurking at the top end of the zone. Played it back over. Gabota by his lonesome all sorts of time and space and shot it through that 95 traffic. And another power play goal for TCNJ. And again, you go back to that penalty kill percentage, under 70% on the season for Drexel. That's been their lone Achilles heel, and it's bitten them twice so far tonight. 2 for 2 on the power play or TCNJ, and they still got 250 to work with on this major. Gibson will skate it across in a 2-on-2, dumps it into the opposite corner. Surratt will play it. Trying to play it back over, intercepted by Gibson, who will send it behind the net. And Kushner has got it over at the point. Kushner across, back to Duggan, and a pad save made by Bruns. Skating his way through is Kazitsky dancing around, trying to find back over to Sambuco, but a nice stick in the lane from Gibson will negate that chance. 2:13 to go in the major against Hutchinson. Gabota with his second goal of the season, cranking one way over the top left of the crossbar was Gibson, and will find Kushner. Kushner back over, Scarmato looking for, comes over to Duggan with a chance, and the net will come off right as the Dragons may have had a chance on the other side. And you can, well, cue the Bon Jovi, ladies and gentlemen. We're halfway home through period number 2. We're halfway home through tonight's contest, and it has been a good one so far tonight, with TCNJ leading 4-2 over the Drexel University Dragons here on tonight's coverage of Drexel M1 Hockey on the Delaware Hockey Network. Trey Wright on the call for DHN. 2 even strength goals and 2 power play goals have given TCNJ a 4-2 lead. They got the first 2 goals in the contest, and then Drexel got the next 2 to equalize it at dos-dos. Before a couple of goals here from the Lions have made it a 4-2 lead. Gabota playing it back over to Kyle Gregory, and Gregory waiting for an option as he got lifted off there by Mikolas. Trying to play it as Gabota once again. It'll find Helkowski trying to chip it over, but it's intercepted by Sambuco. Sambuco trying to get on his horse in a high riser too high over the bar. Kept in by Burkon. Sambuco trying to take it away. He scores! So a shorthanded goal for the Dragons puts them within 1 once again. And Ryan Sambuco with a nifty turnaround shot to dart it home. Noticing a lot of patterns in this game. TCNJ goes up by 2, and Ryan Sambuco with his second of the night brings it back to within 1. Quickly took it away from that TCNJ skater and put it right over the shoulder of Esposito. 7 goals scored, and we're just past the midway point in period number 2, but goodness gracious, what a firework game this has been. 6 minutes away from midnight here in Philadelphia, and the Dragons will not go away. The Lions coming into the Dragons' den looking for the upset. So Sambuco with another goal here tonight, getting his 20th goal on the year. So Burkon with the only assist with 39 seconds to go in the major. TCNJ able to get a power play, but Drexel able to get a shorthanded goal from Sambuco. And Sambuco into that 20-goal category for the grad student. Again, his name well known in the Drexel Dragons verse. 18 seconds to go in the major against Hutchinson. And TCNJ was, fortunately for them, able to get a goal to make it a 2-goal lead. Gives them a little bit of insurance here. And Duggan in the dying moments of the major, trying to lift one over the shoulder of Bruns, and it comes back the other way for Jacobs. Jacobs trying to get it around Walter. Walter will get it back over to Duggan, and Duggan will come back the other direction with it, wearing 9. Nearly knocked off by Doyle. Doyle and Duggan both fighting for the vulcanized rubber. Joining the fray on the other side is Greenspoon. Coming back over with it is Harris, trying to backhand it out. Intercepted by Duggan as a 6 and 9 trying to go after it. This will be skated down and will not be dumped down by, it was dumped down by a TCNJ skater, so icing was negated. Comes back out to the neutral zone for Gregory. Gregory, 1 goal already tonight, will lose it to Doyle. Doyle will play it back over to Evan Mudrick, who has had a quiet evening so far. As we say that, he tries to bull rush his way around Ryan Walter. Not able to pinch it home. On the other way was Edo. And this comes back over. The Dragons will reset once again. Mudrick coming with it, and Jacobs not able to keep it in. So this will come back out to the neutral zone. So in all the chaos, we'll get into our proud partners here with the 412 Communications, building bridges between you and your destination. Of course, modern media, it's about everybody shouting for attention and nobody hearing anything. But we've certainly heard a lot of goal horns here today. As looking for the equalizer once again were the Dragons. That was Nathan Steele who was trying to underline and highlight that point. 4-3 your score, 6:48 to go in the second period. And we'll get another look at it. Crashing in once again was that fervent forecheck. Steele and Duggan opposite of one another, off of the draw to the left-hand side of Esposito. Clean win, blast from Surrett off of the end wall. Oh boy, that'll leave a mark on you. I think James and I have seen that our fair share of slap shots from the blue line from Hayden Surrett. And he will surely put a mark on you if you are in the way of that heavy blaster there from the Chicago, Illinois native. He'll stick handle around Walter, will play it back over to Steele. And Steele back over to Surrett. We'll see if he'll go with the wrist shot this time. Not able to gain the rebound was Sambuco. And covering for the pause once again is Esposito, 2 minutes to midnight. Well, it is a little bit freezing here in the Class of 23 arena. With 6:27 remaining in the second period, Walter has got it. Nearly clipped was Helkowski as he put it back into the neutral zone. Steele trying to play it off the high glass. Carmato not able to quite take it away. Comes back over to Lippy, and Lippy ran right into the referee who ran over a Drexel skater. That was Sambuco who ran right into the on-ice official. Surrett is on it, puts it right into the gear of Esposito, and he'll cover up his own rebound. TCNJ leading 4-3. The dying couple of minutes here in period number 2, and we're in the dying couple seconds of January 23rd, 2026. Amendola off of the draw, looking for a quick chance there was Edo. Is still loose in the low slot, and TCNJ is able to clear it out. Here comes Kushner, 1 goal already this evening, trying to dance around a dragon, not able to get it past Burkon. Amendola trying to keep it away from Andrew Body, and Body not able to take this away from the 2 of Daniel Jakob. 5:30 to go in period number 2, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to January 24th. It is Saturday and Saturday here in the great city of Philadelphia. I guess it is top of the hour, so we do owe you a score update, 4-3 with 5:13 to go in period number 2. TCNJ with 2 quick goals. One of them coming on a 5-minute major power play, but able to score a shorthanded goal on that power play was Ryan Sambuco. 2 goals already tonight for the grad student. But TCNJ has been able to gain the lead from the majority of tonight's contest here with under 5 to go in the second period. We're certainly living after midnight, as Judas Priest once sang back in the 20th century. I believe that was a 1987 hit, if I'm not mistaken. Daniel Jakob from the right circle will play it back over to Nick Stout. And the Lions trying to break out once again, but it comes back over. This is Alex Gibson, who's got it at the near side. Puts a shot on 5 feet wide of Luca Bruns' office. Sent back in by Zach Duggan. And taking a ride on the railroad tracks was the vulcanized rubber. This goes in and out. And with 4:12 to go in period number 2, Ben Burkon will reset. Trying to set up Kazitsky once again. Kazitsky looking for a high shoulder shot. Goes a little bit too high over the bar. Delayed offside. This is a perfect chance for Gibson to take it back out. But it's brought back in once again by Mikolas. Mikolas to Bachran, one of the 2 goal scorers tonight for this Drexel program. Send in from Doyle from a blast from the outside point. Helkowski has got it, not quite able to get it. Kept back over by Doyle. Doyle will bring it in, but offside was Jimmy Jacobs. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in after midnight to tonight's contest here on the Delaware Hockey Network. My name is Trey Wright for the DHN. Back end of our doubleheader here on the Delaware Hockey Network with 3:31 to go in period number 2. 4-3 win for the good guys over, for the namesake of the Delaware Hockey Network, the Fightin' Blue Hens of the University of Delaware with that win over the Syracuse Orange at Fred Rust Arena. We have traveled down here, the city of brotherly love, traveled up here, I should say, as Jacobs puts a shot way over the glass. Little too much pitch in that sand wedge. James appreciating that golf analogy. Face-off comes to the left-hand side. Over on the far side, Kazitsky wins it. Comes back over to Hutchinson. Make that Lippy, my apologies. Again, those 2 were confused on the ice, and they were confused on the score sheet, as it looked like that major was going to go against Lippy, who boarded Matthew Korobko. But it did go against Hutchinson. So Lippy is back out here wearing 3. Mudrick trying to play it back over to Kazitsky, now playing on this line. And Mudrick trying to give chase. Hounded there by Scarmato, and he's trying to keep it away from Kazitsky. Plays it back over to Gregory. Oh, it is Ryan Sambuco. I thought the 8 was a 9. As Kushner, wearing the easily identifiable number 7, not able to get that there, and nearly off to the races was Kazitsky. Rather, Sambuco, who's looking for the hat trick. Again, those 2, both wingers, both play a very similar style to one another. Sending it over the bar. Off of the post was Sambuco once again. And Harris trying to play it back over. Sambuco thought about the lacrosse move. And simultaneously, the net came off for a pause with 2:08 to go. And a big shout out to all the spectators braving the elements and coming out to tonight's contest. Temperature outside hovering probably with the wind chill about maybe 20 degrees. 15 degrees, the wind chill, -3. It is certainly a freezer box outside of the class of 1923 arena, of course, with the calm before the literal snowstorm that'll be blanketing the entire East Coast this upcoming weekend as Surratt will fan on that pass. Surratt is able to collect it, gets it back over to Lazine. Quick passing here by the Dragons. Surratt with a drive from the point. It's covered up once again by Esposito. I don't think I've seen a wind chill in the negatives in quite some time, James. It is certainly cold. Cold out there, certainly cold in here. It was down at ice level during that first intermission, and I was talking with a couple of guys on both sides. They were loving this cold temperature in a normally balmy, warm building. But of course, with how cold it is outside, it's going to get pretty cold in here. That's what hockey is supposed to be played in. It's supposed to be played in the cold with 1:30 to go in the second period. It's the reason they call it sweaters. Esposito quickly trying to get that out of there, but it's wheeled back over. Surratt back over, just a nice stick in the lane by Duggan. Will play it back over. Surratt not able to hold on to it. Sent back in by Hutchinson for his first shift after getting that major. Gabota trying to play it back over to Gibson with 1:05 to go in the middle period. Drexel looking for the equalizer in the dying seconds of this period. Final minute of play in period number 2, and the Dragons surveying. Lazine's shot blocked, goes into the corner, comes back to Steele. Steele to Harris. Harris behind the goal mount, trying to play it back over. The net is off of its moorings, and TCNJ will get it back the other way. This one deflects off of the backhand of Helkowski, who plays it into the corner with Lazine. Helkowski knocked off, trying to rush back into the player, both Lazine and Helkowski, and comes back over to Kushner, trying to take it back to himself. Just tags up to negate the offside with 25 to go, and Drexel will start from their own side. Lazine looking for the cross-ice pass over the 6 of Harris. Harris tied up with Yaka behind the goal. Jakob will win that battle with the Drexel captain. Banks it off of the high glass, gets it back over to the 27 of Michaelis. 3 seconds to go. Clap bomb from outside of the zone from Sambuco, and that's how we'll respond. TCNJ, 2 more goals in that second period. 1 more goal, 2 more goals for Drexel, as the Lions lead 4-3 after 40 minutes. We'll step aside here in the Delaware Hockey.
There's nothing all-American quite like a good old-fashioned barbecue. Sid's Barbecue and Jerky brings the most tender and flavorful pulled pork, brisket, and barbecue chicken to the tri-state area, and is sure to turn your next gathering into a truly all-American event. Visit Sid's on Ridge Road in Claymont, Delaware, or place your next catering order at sidsbbqandjerky.com.
Broadcast to social, print to digital, coast to coast, remote or on-site. 412 Communications has the solution to bridge your team with your audience. Want to know more? Visit 412communications.com today. Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. The expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
We're past midnight in the city of brotherly love, and the Drexel Dragons, hoping that this Cinderella story that TCNJ is building right now will strike midnight as well. We're back here for the third period of play for tonight's coverage of Drexel University Dragons M1 hockey, live on the Delaware Hockey Network. Trey Wright on the call. You go back into these last couple of goals here, 3 goals in that second period, 2 of them belonging to TCNJ. For the most recent goal in the contest belonging to Ryan Sambuco, 1 goal away from a hat trick for the grad student. There's a great takeaway there from Alex Gibson. Brings the Dragons back within 1 with 40 down and 20 to go. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule for both of these teams, beginning with the Dragons. They're on the road tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. at Flyers Skate Zone in Northeast Philadelphia to take on the Temple Owls. As we're off and running for period number 3, and then they've only got 1 home game left as they begin a 4-game road trip. So that's sent out of there into the neutral zone by Josh Kushner. They're on the road to take on the Golden Rams of Westchester on January 31st before a doubleheader on the road against the URI Rams in a rematch of the 2024 ESCHL Championship game between the Rams and the Dragons. TCNJ taking on their NECHL counterpart, cross-state counterparts next weekend with a home-and-home as a 2-on-1 developing. Trying to get it there in front was Jacobs, and Esposito made the save. Oh, Sambuco was trying to load the shotgun for Jacobs, and now on the other way, here comes Zach Duggan. Right onto Bruns, he scores! So a great chance for the equalizer on one end of the ice and 200 feet on the other way. Zach Duggan brings it back to a 2-goal lead. So a great chance for Jacobs denied, and Zach Duggan off to the races, and he blasted down Broadway to snooker one right under the gear of Luca Bruns, and that is a heartbreaker. Not quite a dagger just yet as Kazitsky trying to bring it right back to a 1-goal deficit. But Zach Duggan, what a play there. For the Allentown, New Jersey native, he leads the NECHL, I believe, in points. He leads the Lions in points this season. Got his 11th on the year, 27th point of the 25-26 campaign. And right back to a point where they've been for the majority of the night are the Dragons. They have not had a lead in this game. They've been tied at 1 point early in that second period. Kazitsky trying to chase after this one, trying to get it back up to Steele. It's pinched the other way by Kyle Gregory. One of the 5 different goal scorers for TCNJ here this evening. An unassisted tally for the 9 of Duggan, the freshman being part of this new raw young talent that we've seen a lot for the TCNJ Lions over these last couple of seasons. Of course, you've got this heavy loaded sophomore class with Josh Kushner, Colin Helkowski. Now you got the freshman of Alex Gibson, Alan Gregorian, whenever he comes back from a lower body injury. Off the mask of Bruns, that was a quick chance from Duggan, not able to get anything home. Hutchinson trying to chase after this, but it comes back over to Liam Yeoman. Yeoman surveying, sends one off of the high glass. Hutchinson trying to keep it in, comes back over to Duggan, who will play it over to Kushner. Kushner not able to get around Burkon's defense. And Hutchinson will spring mirror nets on the other way, trying to get it back over to Hutchinson. No dice, comes back to Helkowski. Rather make that Kushner. Kushner to Duggan. Duggan, 1 goal already, was trying to get it back over to Kushner, who was pinned up. Greenspoon back over Duggan to Kushner, excuse me. And Bruns will say enough of this nonsense. We'll hold on for the pause. 8 goals scored in this game. And right now, the lion's share of them belong to TCNJ, who are looking for their first win in the last 2 games. So we're swept by the Mountaineers of the West Virginia University, 11-1, suffering an 11-1 loss on Sunday, an 8-3 loss against the Mountaineers on Saturday. They got a win against NECHL rival Canisius, As a loose puck took a weird bounce. Sambuco thought he had a wide open net once again. Was not able to hold on to it, and the net simultaneously came off. It wouldn't have mattered. But Sambuco tantalizingly close to a hat trick, but more importantly, getting the Dragons back within one. Sambuco and Baccarin, the only two goal scorers for the Dragons so far tonight. It's been a full-depth effort here for TCNJ. It's still loose. Esposito thought he had it. It's still on the goal line and somehow getting it out of there with the Lions. Harris not able to have it roll off of his stick. Surrett at the point. Back over across. Kept back in by Scarmato, but taken back here by Sambuco. Sambuco looking to get on the drive, and the net comes off its moorings once again. As we get another look at that insanity in the low slot, and the Dragons just very, very close to bringing it back within one. You see right there was right on the goal line. Everybody knew it, and a great job out of those TCNJ skaters for clearing it out. And again, this has been a full team effort from TCNJ so far this evening. Christian Esposito has been able to do his job when he has been called upon, and he's been rewarded with some offensive firepower that TCNJ hasn't seen a whole lot this season. Lazine sends that one off target, and it will find Stout looking to backhand pitchfork it. Gets as far as Harris, and it's knocked in and out of the zone, and Amendola puts it right on the tape of Gregory. Gregory trying to spin away from Surrett, and his inlet pass is intercepted once again by Lazine, and Surrett will chase after this one. Still plenty of time for the Dragons to get back in the dance, but they have trailed by 2 for the majority of this evening. And now this morning, TCNJ is hoping that Cinderella story doesn't hit midnight like we have here in the city of brotherly love, as Kushner, who's one of the 5 goal scorers, trying to set things up for Joey Greenspoon. This comes back over, and trying to wheel it out of here is Mikolas, but it's taken back here by Walter. Lazine across to Surrett, and Surrett trying to survey. Will rim it back around the wall for his defensive line pair of Lazine, I should say. This goes the length of the ice, and a rare icing call. We haven't seen a whole lot of that this evening. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule for TCNJ, like we were talking about before, a breakaway goal from Zach Duggan. They're going to take on their cross-state NECHL rival, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers University. Both of those games in a home-and-home will be broadcasted over on the Breakout Sports Broadcasting Network on YouTube. And the other 2 games on the schedule in limbo right now, with the University of Buffalo potentially forfeiting their games. It's been a tumultuous last 24 months for the University of Buffalo Bulls as they missed their whole season last year. Right now, completely crushing the NECHLs that came back with a vengeance. But now, fortunately, financial issues have troubled that team for potentially forfeiting the rest of the regular season in order to make the playoffs. That'll be a developing storyline for the NECHL. Right now for the ECHA, the Drexel Dragons, who sit second in the division with a lot of star-studded talent, trying to come back from a 5-3 deficit, 14:39 to go in the third frame. Doyle turns it over, and Helkowski goes over the crossbar. He's trying to join the goal-scoring parade. Helkowski on it once again, not able to get it back to Scarmato, who got the parade started earlier on in the first. And this will go down once again for icing against the Dragons, and they'll have to remain on. Draw will come to the left-hand side of Luca Bruns. Bruns facing 26 shots tonight and has saved 21 of them. 29 saves right now for Christian Esposito of the 32 that he has faced. Both goaltenders have seen their fair share of rubber. Helkowski freeing up the loose puck, nearly got run over by Tiberio. Trying to get it back to Scarmato, who's looking for the Jack Hughes high angle. It stays in play. Amendola will come back with it with a quick shot, a high riser over the crossbar once again. Kosicki takes it back from his own end of the frozen pond, and he's trying to make quick work. Here comes Anton Kosicki, not able to split the defense, gets it back over to Mudryk. And Mudryk wasn't able to get anything on it. Now on the counterattack, touching up will be Greenspoon. He and Burkon fight for it over in the far wall for a brief moment. At the far wall, Burkon onto Kosicki now playing on this top line. Burkon sends it in. And from long range, Esposito will hold on to his own rebound for the pause. Well, we hope that everybody has definitely put the coffee on the pot, of drinking all your energy drinks, doing what you need to do to stay up for what is turned to do a high-octane slugfest between a couple of solid teams here in the tri-state area. Duggan tied up by Pietro Baccarin, sends it back to Yeoman, and that's waffle boarded into the corner by Bruns. Baccarin will take it on the other side, puts it on the tape of Evan Mudryk, and Mudryk will dump it in. Looking for the rebound on the other side is Baccarin. He overskates it, comes back over to Duggan. Duggan pulls up, nearly ran over by Kosicki, and is sent back in by Yeoman. Mikolas trying to keep it away from the ever-dangerous Manny Amendola. Same thing with Zach Duggan. This is chipped back out to neutral territory. Walter sends it in. Bruns had to make the save. Burkon nearly turning it over to Helkowski. This trickles back over. Bruns has got it, and the Aussie will set it up for Burkon in 11. Helkowski trying to set it up for the other 11 as Amendola and Burkon, the two 11s, fighting for it. This will find Mikolas in 27. They'll get it back over to the captain of Harris. Harris's seam pass intercepted, but comes back over. Here's Jacobs with a short side wrister, and it's gobbled up once again by Esposito. .12:10 to go in period number 3. And leading by a pair. Once again, RTC and Jay, they have led by 2 goals by what seems the majority of the game tonight as Harris's shot rebounds, and he'll find Harris at the point once again. He goes wide. Comes back over to Lippy. And Sorretta's got it, kicks it back over himself, and he nearly got it over to Gibson. And Gibson has got it to 2-on-1. Gibson across, Duggan a little bit tied up. A great defensive back check there by Lippy, and he will angle Gibson into the corner. Surrett from his own side on the tape of Sambuco, still on hat trick watch. Here's Harris across to Jacob. Jacob with a goal already off of the crossbar. Oh, Jimmy Jacobs had Esposito beat, but he can't beat the iron. This trickles all the way down and will go for an icing. And that has really just been the story of the night for Drexel. The puck hasn't gone their way. I believe that is the second or third piece of iron that the Dragons have hit. They've been able to solve Esposito a couple times, but the pesky outer border of that 4x6. That 1 inch of metal piping tends to be a better goaltender sometimes. And that saved Esposito a couple of different times in this game so far, but still plenty of hockey to go. All you need are 2 shots onto Esposito, past Esposito, to get right back into the dance and make it a brand new hockey game as Kushner, he gets mollywopped down. TCNJ bench wanted a call, and they're not going to get it. Kushner back in the fray on the other side. This is gloved down once again. Lippy back over to Kushner, and he gets leveled by Kushner. Kushner trying to get it out, and Lippy throwing the body. Both enforcers for either team getting to know each other fairly well here in the wee hours of Saturday. Surrett, good move, he scores! Hayden Surrett weaves his way through traffic and snicks one over the shoulder of Esposito. And the Dragons, once again, are within 1. And a quick move there as Steele had it at the near side, played it up for Surrett, and he just sniped it upper decky where Mama pops her zinnies. And just like that, it's a one-goal game with the Dragons will not go away, and TCNJ just trying to keep this game going here. It's been a fantastic one so far. And again, coming into this game, you'll look at the records for these two teams. You think Drexel would have it in the bag, but the Lions have come to play tonight. But Drexel not done yet. We'll get the particulars on that goal in a moment. Right now, Mudrick trying to get it back over to Bakarin. Bakarin's pass will go back into the neutral zone, and Helkowski trying to find it. Scarmato in the near side corner along with Tiberio. This will find Helkowski, who was hounded there by Kazitsky. Scarmato, rather that was Helkowski. Back to Gibson at the point. Helkowski not able to backhand this one back into the slot, and he'll find Gregory. Gregory and Lazine will collide in the corner. This will find Scarmato, who got the goal scoring started 9 goals ago. Trying to get it back over to Gregory. Scarmato had it, lost it, comes back to Tiberio. Kazitsky will play it up for Bakarin. Bakarin, 1 goal already tonight, puts one on target. Rebound goes into the corner where it'll be found by Yeoman. This is chipped out, bat out of the air with a high stick, negated there by Lazine, and he'll play it back to Mudrick, who will dump in. Wholesale line change as getting their top guys out will be Drexel, as Gregory will chip this past the red line. This goes on net, and Mikolas will play it from his own end. Looking for the stretch pass, intercepted by Brian Gabota, one of the 5 goal scorers for the Lions tonight. Here's Amendola looking for the backhander. That didn't miss by much. Was trying to get it back to Gabota in the low slot. He was tied up. Here's Sambuco playing it across. Jacobs on it once again, looking for the backhander, and that's stopped by Esposito. 8:45 to go in the third period. Still a lot of time left. Nat Harris nearly had it in the low slot. Couldn't get anything to go. Gabota's got the red line. He'll put one on target. That's saved by Bruns. He'll reset for Mikolas in 27. Gibson not able to bat this down. Icing is negated. It's a foot race the other way between Stout and Sambuco. Glove down once again by Harris. He'll play it over to Jacobs. Jacobs with Sambuco in the low slot. Sambuco looking for a hat trick. He got a shot, not able to get a goal. Now the Dragons starting to buzz here with 8:13 to go. 5-4. TCNJ leads, and Christian Esposito comes up big with another shot from mid-range. The Dragons continue to pound the offensive zone as that goal was Surrett from Steele. At 9:24 in the third period. Shot right off the draw. Goes wide of the cage. It'll find the 23 of Eisler. And this will remain down as Eisler nearly batted it back over to himself. Fighting forward in the corner between gold and blue jerseys. Burkon in the near side corner. He gets run over by Yeoman. Eisler puts on the brakes, trying to get it back over to Burkon. It's in the opposite corner. Trying to get it there was Body. It comes out, and here's Kushner in a one-on-one with Mikolas. Kushner, 1 goal already. Howitzers it off of the dasher and straight up into the netting. And that shot had some mustard and relish on that. Draw will come in the offensive zone, and you can see it a couple of different times. Again, we mentioned at the top of the show, TCNJ playing with a very short bench tonight. Only 15 skaters, 9 forwards, and 9 forwards and 6 defensemen. Mudrick shot, saved by the stick of Esposito. Comes back over to Lippy. To Surrett, 1 goal already tonight, and his draw goes wide. Greenspoon now fighting forward in the corner, trying to get it back over to Walter, who's taken down in a heap. Yeoman not able to clear it out. Amendola will come in to try and assist, and it comes back to the Dragons. Kazitsky partially tied up. This comes back over to Surrett. Dances away from Brian Gabota. He doesn't have a stick, and a shot through traffic from Surrett is sought through and stopped once again by Esposito. And it looks like Gabota's twig, rather that was Yeoman's twig, was snapped in half, so the Pennington, New Jersey native will have to come back for a fresh stick. Under 7 now to go in the third period as we approach 12:30. Make that 1 o'clock Eastern time here in the city of brotherly love. Like you said, if you're filled with your energy drinks and whatnot, as this will go the length of the ice once again. Surrett first one to touch up on it for the icing. Hopefully you're still awake, because we've got one whale of a game on tap here with TCNJ up 5-4. 41 shots on goal right now for Drexel, compared to the 29 for TCNJ that they currently possess right now. Clean win, and Sambuco's drive saved by the pillows once again of Esposito. Sambuco has had a couple of really good chances in this third period, but right now it's Surrett. Sends one through, and that was blocked by the leg of Stout by the looks of it. Comes back over to Harris. Plays it over. Jacobs in the low slot was trying to feed that over from Harris. Harris on it once again, looking for the wraparound, and getting able there in time was Esposito, and blocking the shot was Kyle Gregory. Sambuco on it once again, sets it up for Harris, and he puts one into the gear of Esposito. Christian Esposito has been tested a lot in this game. Faced 2 shots in quick succession. And he definitely will be in consideration for one of our 3 stars of the game, brought to you by Sid's Barbecue and Jerky, located in Claymont, Delaware. Starting to get a little bit cold here in the class of 1923 arena right now. Like we said, the weather outside a little bit frightful. Last time we checked it, felt like -3 degrees. As Gibson puts it over to Kushner. Kushner shot glove down by Bruns. Only feels like -2 now, so not as bad. Under 6 to go in the third period. Gabota at the point, try to get it back over to Duggan, who's partially denied. Gibson not able to take that away from Doyle. Trying to get around there on the other way, and now Drexel wanted an interference call, as hauled down was Dimitro Mironets. Drexel has not had a power play yet in this game, and with 5:32 to go, down by 1, they'd love to have some deep fried turkey on the table, much like TCNJ had. TCNJ 2 for 2 on their 2 power plays so far tonight. Drexel does have a shorthanded goal for one of their 4. Gabota redirects that shot into the corner, chases after it along with Steele. Steele turns around, trying to play it back over to Latham Hutchinson. Kushner into the defensive end, skies one all the way across the Penn logo, and this nearly went into the bench, as Ryan Nocerino nearly got hit in the face there. Kushner from his own side once again. Hopefully he doesn't hit any Drexel backup goaltenders who are on the bench currently. Trying to be off to the races is Mudrick. Mudrick is able to try to get it back over to Baccarin, but in the lane there was a Lion. Helkowski has got it, and now a 2-1-1 for TCNJ. Here's Gregory on his horse, and he shoots it wide. That could have been the dagger for TCNJ, and now on the other way, that's a little too far out for Baccarin. And Evan Mudrick, frustrated with himself, immediately gets back in the saddle. Here's Baccarin on the other side. Kept back in by Kazitsky. 2 players on top of one another in the low slot, and we're going to get a whistle. It was Baccarin and Gregory tied up like a cobble's knot. And with 4:15 to go in the third period, doesn't look like we're going to get any penalties in that. Yes, I read Maniac McGee, James. I'll have to remember that for my my junior call for the Mercer Chiefs tomorrow. This goes in and out of the Drexel bench for the pause with under 4:12 to go in the third. Big thank you to our entire crew here tonight for the Delaware Hockey Network. Of course, James Witherite, the biggest cog in this Delaware Hockey Network machine, being our videographer, or being our technical director and PA announcer tonight, Caleb White, our videographer this evening. As Sambuca with a drive, this rebound's coming back over, back on the other way. Kick save once again by Esposito. Third try, save once again. Fourth try comes over to him, and he'll make the quick pause. 4 grade A and B chances for the Dragons, and they're not able to get it past number 30. Four quick chances, and he has been on it like Blue Bonnet in this game. Up to 43 saves on the evening with 3:50 to go. Six that aside. Time winding down, and when will Luka Bruns go to the net is going to be the million-dollar question that we'll be asking ourselves. Sambuca's shot, fanned on it, coming back over to Duggan, who's trying to split the Golden Sea. Not able to get around Surrett, and Surrett gets a little bit of a shot to the back. He went hard into the end wall. Drexel faithful wanted a penalty. They're not going to get it. Back on one knee was a Lion, and nearly getting the dagger there was Kushner. Duggan trying to lay the body onto Surrett. Those two exchange whacks. In front of them, trying to beat the icing on the other way was Harris. Just beat by a half step by Ryan Walter. And this will come into the offensive zone for TCNJ. Time not on the side of the Dragons. And they're going to be looking for an offensive zone draw here as Carmado got tied up on the draw. Sambuca coming across. And a nifty glove save by Christian Esposito once again. Under 3 to go. Right at about 1 o'clock Eastern, the frigid conditions of Philadelphia have sifted their way into the class of 1923 arena. The bold, faithful few that have bear the elements and beard the start of this contest. As not able to beat the icing was Kyle Gregory, and that's going to save Drexel. But a big shout out to all the fans that have, like we said, braved the elements, coming here to support both of these programs. And the on-ice product has delivered to the fans, both in person and watching our stream here this evening on the Delaware Hockey Network. That goes wide, a drive from Mikolas. That comes back over to Barrio, trying to play it back over to Baccarin. 2:36 to go in period number 3. Bruns still in his cage. Baccarin at the point, shoots it through traffic, and Esposito, like a seeing-eye dog, will snuff out that puck. 79 shots combined for both of these teams, 49 for Drexel. They're one shot away from a 50-burger. And they're trying to solve Christian Esposito, but Esposito playing the role of a brick wall right now. To Barrio, bouncing puck, saved by Esposito, and he had to come back out. Shot number 50, save number 46. For the Manalapan, New Jersey freshman, 1-2-1 on the season. Former goaltender for the Mercer Chiefs, whose NCDC program will be playing against the PAL Junior Islanders tomorrow night. I myself will be on the call for that for Black Bear TV. Alex Gibson beats the icing against Hayden Surrett, make that William Mikolas. And with 2:11 to go in the third period, when will Bruns come to the cage? Here's Sambuca with the drive. Puts one on target, rebound comes back over to a friendly TCNJ skater. Mikolas still with it, sends it into the half wall. Sticks high in the air, under 2 minutes to go in the third period. Weishner still waiting to bring his Australian netminder to the bench for the extra skater. Quick change for TCNJ with 100 seconds to go in the third period. Icing will be waved. No, it will be called here. I thought the linesperson was going to wave it off for a moment, but now with 1:36 to go, This will go against Drexel. And TCNJ trying to live this Cinderella story with a win here tonight over the second place team. And we will be getting a timeout. As Tyler Warshner will use his only timeout with 1:36 to go.
Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. The expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
Whether you're a competitive athlete or a weekend warrior, a sports medicine physician is an important player on your health team. With over 10 years of treating high school, collegiate, professional, and everyday athletes, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine is the specialist you need to achieve personal bests and lead a healthier lifestyle. With clinics in Wilmington and Townsend, Delaware Sports Medicine is here for every athlete in your family. Visit desportsmed.com today to learn more.
1 minute and 36 seconds to go. And a defensive zone draw for the Drexel Dragons, who trail 5-4 in the dying moments of regulation. Trey Wright on the call for the Delaware Hockey Network. Zach Duggan to meet opposite of Ryan Sambuco, and Sambuco with a clean win off the faceoff, sending it all the way down, and Anton Kazitsky will beat out the icing. To the bench goes Bruns, extra skater coming on here for Drexel. This bounces all the way down. Will it be an icing? It will. 1:21 now to go in the third period. And throwing the kitchen sink at Christian Esposito is Tyler Warshner, and he'll get the extra skater out. If you're a Lions fan, you're rocking in your seat right now in Ewing, New Jersey, hoping and praying that this team can get a much-earned win tonight. If you're a Drexel fan, you're looking your team can squeak out a comeback win. Gregory going for the empty net, and he goes it into the corner instead. And it'll be icing once again against TCNJ with 1:11 to go. So Gregory able to chip off 10 seconds. It'll be another icing. Sambuco, Burkon, Kazitsky, Harris, and Jimmy Jacobs, the 6 skaters, along with Hayden Surrett. Jacobs off of the draw. Gregory trying to take it away. Jacobs with a quick shot. High riser stays in. Sambuco looking for a hat trick, and that redirects way over off the stick of Duggan. 62 seconds to go in regulation, and looking for a quick equalizer to give these fans a little bit of free hockey are the Dragons. Harris opposite of Gregory off the draw, and Harris wins it cleanly. Quick shot for Burkon, goes wide. Final minute of regulation here. TCNJ leads by a goal. Sambuco trying to look for the equalizer. Plays it into the corner. Burkon to Kazitsky, nothing there. Sambuco across to Surrett. Surrett, one goal already, off of the iron once again and into the netting. It does not get any closer, as Hayden Surrett looking for his second goal in a row. He had Esposito dead to rights, but that pesky outline of the 4x6 coming back to bite the Dragons once more. And a couple seconds ticked off of the clock after a false start off of the draw, and that could come back to bite Drexel. And those seconds will be put back on, so 43 on the board. Harris off of the draw, back to Sambuco. Playing it back to Surrett. Surrett, shot blocked by Gregory. It's still loose, right in the slot somehow. Esposito comes up big. We'll get another look at it. And for the 48th time tonight, Espo says no. This time robbing another chance on Ryan Sambuco. 35 now to go. Puck comes back to the near side. Back over to Burkon, to Surrett. Surrett from the point. Still it's loose. Trying to get it there. They score! With 26.2 to go, the Dragons find it, and they bury it for the equalizer. And guess freaking who? Ryan Sambuco, an equalizing hat trick with 26.2 to go. And it's a brand new hockey game in Philadelphia. So the slate of past sins has been wiped clean, and the gamble of pulling Bruns works. And the Dragons clawing themselves back into this game. They would not go away. Sambuco with his third of the night will likely send this game into overtime if Harris is able to make quick work of it. This will be taken back by Sambuco. Back on the other way it comes, and that will do it for regulation. It's late enough, ladies and gentlemen. Why the heck not with some overtime? Free hockey coming up here at 1 a.m. on a Saturday here at the Class of 1923 Arena. Don't go anywhere.
Drexel University goal was the 21st of the season and third of the game. Scored by number 29, Ryan Sambuco. Assisted on the way to Delaware title in 1933 in the third period. Sambuco's 21st of the game for Burkon in 1933. There will now be a 5-minute time overtime. It is a sudden victory overtime. Teams will change ends. For the next period again, the next goal is the game-winning goal.
So we are back here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It is 1 o'clock on a Saturday in Philadelphia, PA. And thanks to Ryan Sambuco, a game-tying hat trick to send this baby into overtime. A much-deserved point for both of these teams as we'll get another look at the chaos in that low slot. It looked like that TCNJ might have been able to clear it out. And Sambuco, right place, right time, doing his best Adam Henrique impression, will tie it for the Dragons, and we go to 3-on-3. Jakob, Duggan, and Kushner, the three skaters on for the Lions, while Steele, Mudrick, and Lippy, the three skaters on for Drexel. Tied at 5 with 5 to go. Here we go. It's overtime in the city of brotherly love, and the Dragons win the draw. Lippy will get it over to Evan Mudrick. He has Nathan Steele on the right-hand side. Mudrick playing it back over to himself. Here's Mudrick with a chance, and that's quickly saved by Esposito. Make it 49 saves on the night for the young freshman, playing in the biggest game of his young career so far. As the Lions look to come into Philadelphia, looking for the upset. They have led by 2 several different times in this game, but Drexel clawing back every single time. Off of the draw, Mudrick trying to win it opposite of Duggan. Duggan trying to take it away, but it's Kushner who will steal it away for the Lions. Kushner playing it across to Daniel Jakob. Jakob will go down the right wing with it. Duggan as the trailer. Jakob puts it into the corner. Lippy will send him into the corner. He'll turn it over, and now Steele has got it. Still no sign of the top line other than Mudrick, and now Mudrick will come on. Burkon to replace him. Well, here comes the captain of Matty Harris. Steele still surveying. Plays it to Burkon. Burkon trying to get it through traffic. Kushner nearly taking it away. He was nearly off to the races. Now Sambuco has got it. He's going to be looking for a Baker's hat trick. Sends it across. Harris had the open net. He hit it over. Sambuco's still with it. Back to Duggan. And not able to get it there was Kushner, who'll come off for a change. Now a 2-on-1. Sambuco takes it himself, a high riser over the bar. Burkon takes it back over. At the red line with it. Sends it back. Sambuco, a hat trick already tonight. He pulls on it. Burkon will reset from his own end. Trying to play it there is Scarmato. Anton Kazitsky will come on. Same thing with Jimmy Jacobs. Kazitsky with a drive and then a stop by Esposito. Both teams have lost 3 times past regulation, 2 overtime losses for TCNJ and a shootout loss for the Lions. And I believe 1 overtime loss for Drexel that came against Villanova earlier in the year, and 2 losses in a shootout. Surrett trying to keep it away from Gregory. 3:07 to go in the overtime period. Surrett not able to take it away. Gregory put himself into a spin cycle, and Jacobs trying to knife it away from Scarmato. Gregory will take it over to himself, trying to play it away from Jimmy Jacobs, and he'll get it on the stick of Stout. Gregory now on it. TCNJ looking for their first shot of the overtime period. Gregory, 1 goal already tonight, trying to play it back to Scarmato, and it's a foot race the other way, easily won by Nick Stout. Stout, the Three Bridges, New Jersey junior, played for the Hunterdon Central Red Devils, trying to play it back over to Kushner. Kushner back over to Stout with Jimmy Jacobs as a hawk. Not able to take it away from them. Tied up there was a Dragon, and the Drexel bench wanted a call, and here comes Kushner in a battle with Surrett. He is going to take down Kushner. No call on the play, and the refs letting the boys play in free hockey. A 2-on-1 for the Dragons. Jacobs across. He's got Harris right next to him. He's not able to pull the trigger, and now the Lions with a 2-on-1. This goes up into the bench. It deflects right into the face of Albert Scarmato, and we will get a pause with action on either side of the pond. Sambuco will win the draw cleanly against Gregory. Lippy blows a tire, able to keep it away from Kyle Gregory, who was hunting him. And Sambuco takes it from his own side. Looking to get it up. It's intercepted by Gregory, who bounced it over to himself. He got hit. Harris gets hit as well. Playing it out will be the 30 of Esposito. Playing it back over is Harris. Surveying, trying to dipsy doodle his way around. It's still loose in the slot, and Esposito says no once more. And now Harris getting into it with Kyle Gregory, and the lines people separating those two. We get yet another look at it. And Harris tantalizingly close once again to giving Drexel their first and only lead of the night. 1:28 to go in overtime. There's been plenty of chances on either side. Dragons, I don't believe, have been able to test Luka Bruns directly in this overtime period. Burkon trying to get it back over to Baccarin. Baccarin, one of the 3 goal scorers, back to Ben Burkon at the point. Burkon sends it across. Mudrick on it, trying to get it to Burkon, a little too far out for Burkon. Duggan trying to be behind him, but Burkon will cycle back over to himself. Still waiting for a lane, has got Baccarin to his left, looking for the tap-in on the other side, not able to get it. 1 minute to go in the overtime period. And now a turnover, looking for the offside with TCNJ, and they're not going to get it. Here comes Mudrick. Down beneath the goal line goes Mudrick. It's loose in the slot. Baccarin, now he had it, and it's still loose. Espo says no. Well, I definitely think we know who 2 of the stars of the night are going to be: Christian Esposito and Ryan Sambuco. The question is, who is going to get the game-winning goal? Josh Kushner trying to be that man. Luka Bruns has not been tested directly in this overtime period. Kushner trying to change that with 37 to go in overtime. Taken back by Surratt. Surratt onto the tape of Sambuco. Trying to spring on the other way is Jimmy Jacobs. Sambuco's got Jacobs, takes it himself, and it's waffleboard in the corner by Esposito. 24 to go. Surratt with a drive, and it's over the bar. That was another save out of Christian Esposito. He's past 50 on the evening. 13 to go in overtime. Gregory just trying to keep it away from gold and blue jerseys. He'll play it over to Kushner with 6 to go. Kushner looking for the last word. He'll fan on the inlet pass, and that will do it for overtime. Grab the 6 shooters, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a shootout.
At the end of overtime, the score remains Drexel Dragons 5, New Jersey Lions 5. We now move to the 3-player side shootout.
And what a game we have had here tonight, and it will be decided in the shootout. TCNJ has not been successful in a couple of their shootouts this season, but Christian Esposito has had some chances as we get another look at that last really good chance for Drexel in this period. Esposito comes, and it's Ryan Sambuco, first one on the shootout. Sambuco with 3 goals already this evening, and off of his stick. He's the reason that we're in the shootout to begin with. And it'll go on to Christian Esposito. Sambuco will start to the left-hand side. Now he'll go down Broad Street. Holds up. Trying to play it out. He lost the handle of it, and saying no is Espo. So Esposito with a quick save on the most dangerous player on the Dragons. And now it's Zach Duggan's turn. Rather, Albert Scarmato. You go all the way back 10 goals ago. Albert Scarmato got this party going. In on Bruns. He scores! So now the Lions up 1-0 in the shootout. And up comes the captain of Matt Harris. Harris looking to contribute in any way that he can, and he will skate to the blue line with it. Comes down the near side. Backhand, forehand, and Espo says no once again. So it all comes down to Allentown, New Jersey, Zach Duggan. If he scores here, TCNJ wins a hard-fought victory. Duggan, 1 goal already this evening. He will start from the near side on to Bruns. Bruns in the butterfly. Duggan trying to drive around. He scores! Zach Duggan for the College of New Jersey wins it in a shootout. And how do you spell relief? E-S-P-O. Christian Esposito with a performance that will last a lifetime. And TCNJ takes this one in a shootout, 6-5. Inconceivable and unbelievable. In an absolute barn burner of a game lasting until 1:15 in the morning. TCNJ gets the job done. You take a look at your 3 stars of the game, 55 save game of the season. Will fall in a shootout to the College of New Jersey. That's hockey, baby. It's the only thing I've got to say. What a game from both of these programs. And we'll close things out here with your final score in a shootout, TCNJ 6 and Drexel 5. Thank you all so much for everybody tuning in. On behalf of Caleb White, our videographer, for James Witherite, every single cog in the machine. My name has been Trey Wright for the Delaware Hockey Network. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Until we see you next, have a great rest of your morning and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.